Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630. WMAL.
637, Wilson, Ham, and Neiman all in our proper places here for the Morning Majority report to you. And tomorrow we will be going and roaming the halls of Capitol Hill in search of answers, trying to figure out what in the heck are we going to do to solve this debt crisis. Special program tomorrow. You want to be sure and join us. But, one of the things they talk about when they talk about, can we come up with a deal or not is, well, we might have to shut down parts of the government. Everybody says, oh, that'd be a horrible thing. Many people have failed to notice that we recently shut down a portion of our government. The FAA is without a budget, and good portions of the FAA, not the folks who are in the control towers around the country, but other people who work, some 4,000 employees who work for the FAA are no longer on the job. They've been furloughed. Those are 4,000 employees over 35 states. What if you shut down an agency and nobody really paid much attention? All of the discussion has been not about, the FAA has been closed down. The discussion has been, hey, this means that they can't collect that tax and I might get a really cheap airline flight.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that interesting? And you close down a federal agency, and the plane tickets get cheaper. And guess what happens? People want to buy tickets, and the economy is stimulated by all of that. Well,
are the tickets actually getting cheaper, or are the airlines just taking that money from their back pocket?
Some people have pointed out that they're not offering any cheaper flights. But we thought we would try to figure out what is really at sort of the basis of all this. And joining us now on the phone is Jim Hickey, an ABC News national correspondent based out of New York. Jim, thanks for joining us. Hey, Jim, what is at the basis of this fight over the FAA?
Well, the basis is that for 20 times in the past several years, Congress has passed short-term funding for the FAA. They haven't had long-term funding since 2007. There have been 20 of these short-term extension bills until now. Congress has not approved a new extension bill, which means the FAA has run out of money. It cannot pay many of its employees, so it has furloughed 4,000 FAA employees. And as I believe you mentioned a moment ago, this does not include, let's say this at the outset, this does not include air traffic controllers. They are still on the job. They are working to keep the skies safe and the airplanes and the airports safe. But other people, like administrative people or research people or construction people, are being furloughed. Furthermore, $2.5 billion in airport construction projects have now been put on hold since the FAA doesn't have the money. And Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood is fit to be tied.
Yeah, and John Micah, congressman from Capitol Hill, says, I have no idea when the FAA will open again. What are they arguing over? Why is it that they can't come to a deal on this?
Well, that's what Ray LaHood wants to know. All he wants is a simple bill without any controversy. For example, here's what he said.
Give us a clean bill. So we don't have to furlough 4,000 people. 4,000 hardworking professional people.
Now, what he says the problem is that some people in Congress, some members of Congress, want to include controversial measures or paragraphs or provisions into that short-term extension, having to do with unions, having to do with other things that are controversial and worthy of debate. He says that's fine. Debate this stuff later. Give us the short-term clean bill so we can put these people back to work.
Why is there a short-term budget for the FAA? And are there other agencies out there that have these short-term budgets where there could be furloughs? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't know how many of any other agencies are run this way. The thing is, for some reason, Congress has failed to pass a full FAA authorization since 2007. The FAA has been limping along with these short-term budgets since then, for the past 4 years. And this time, Congress has not acted. And LaHood is caught between a rock and a hard place here. He says, in this lousy economy, there's no reason to put people out of work for no good reason.
Well, this is what confused me about this debate, and it sort of reminds me of the budget debate. It's, Democrats are mad that Republicans are adding these union-related, making it harder to unionize, basically, adding those to the bill. But in 2007... And up until 2010, they had lots of control to pass whatever they wanted with clean and, more friendly union whatever attached, and they didn't do that for the long term. What was the glitch?
Well, that is a really, really good question, and maybe when you prowl the halls of Congress tomorrow, you can ask those folks, what's going on here?
We have so many questions.
Absolutely right.
All right, so what does it mean to the everyday flyer? I mean, how's it affect me, or how does it affect the guys in his car right now ready to go to the airport?
Okay, when you go to the airport, you're probably not going to see much of a change because the people up front in the who work the front office, if you will, are the ones still working, and certainly the air traffic controllers are still working. The people you don't see are behind the scenes, so there won't be much of a change in operations. However, one thing the FAA, and you referred to this, one thing the FAA cannot do now without this authorization bill is allow the airlines to collect the 7.5% tax on tickets. So the airlines don't do that right now. They've stopped collecting tax. That means cheaper tickets for all of us, right?
Not necessarily.
Not so fast.
Yeah.
What is happening, Ray LaHood says that some, not all, but some of the airlines are raising their fees by the amount of that 7.5% tax that they no longer have to collect or don't have to collect right now. So what's happening is you and I aren't saving any money, but the airlines are making a lot more money because they're keeping that tax.
Well,
Here's what LaHood says about that.
I think it is not right for them to be charging people for the taxes that are not being collected. If they can't collect the tax, those charges should not be on an airline ticket.
So Ray LaHood is mad at Congress. He's mad at the airlines.
Well, to be fair to the airlines, I would be thinking, well, if I don't have to pay this tax right now, I wonder when there is a deal, they're going to call it back or try and claw it back.
Well, that's a good question. Will they try to collect, or will the government insist that tax be paid back in the time that this bill is in limbo?
Just for everybody's information, rumor has that Virgin America, Frontier, and Alaska Airlines are allowing the tax savings to flow through to the consumer.
Let's go to Alaska.
So, those are your choices, according to the Associated Press.
All right. Well, listen, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. It's Jim Hickey, ABC News national correspondent, talking about an agency that has furloughed a lot of employees, some 4,000 employees.
Somebody's going to book a honeymoon ticket.